Okay, so this is a practice focus group meeting with A2 students, and we're going to be talking about the genre of horror with the focus group today. So the focus group, the demographic is 17, 18-year-olds. Is that correct, you guys? Yeah. And British primarily, and any other demographic information that you guys want to get out of people too, okay? So, guys, first question. What kind of horror films do you guys like?
Thrillers.
Horror films.
Thriller horror films.
You like a thriller horror film.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a title of a horror film that you've liked lately?
The Woman in Black.
And that's a British film.
Yes.
How come you like that one, Lily?
Because even though it was aged 12, it did kind of scare me a little bit.
So the age restriction was quite low. Interesting. Okay. So it wasn't as gory necessarily then. It was just more the atmosphere
Yeah.
that got to you. And so that could lead into another question then too. So do you guys, when you watch a horror film, are you wanting to see like a lot of gore, a lot of violence, or are you wanting to see something that's a bit more subtle and kind of like gets inside you, makes you think about the possible horror? Yeah, go ahead, man.
I like both, to be honest. I like the gore aspect of it, and also like the psychological like thought of it, like going through and experiencing the film, thinking about it. But also, I like to see a little bit of gore as well.
A little bit of gore.
Yeah.
A little bit of gore. So not too much gore.
I think I like a lot of gore in it. Like if it's focused on that, then I'll watch it mainly for that. But then if it's like, if it gets you thinking about it, yeah.
So, on the gore front, if, say, I had a large budget and I was able to get a bankable star, would you guys want to see a large star in the film in a horror with the possibility of them getting carved up? Or would you guys rather see somebody a little bit more B-list, C-list in a group of people?
Yeah, I prefer. I think the horror movies work well when it's more like B-list, C-list rather than like a ranked like actor. I
think it depends on what kind of horror film you're doing though, because something like Sinister didn't have any kind of big actors in, but worked really well because it wasn't scary in my opinion, but it made you question it. Yeah. And it was more of a
kind
freak.
of
So what Lily was going on.
Yeah.
I
But
think
then something like Saw as well, you've got like no actors and they brought like a whole new kind of like style to horror film. It was just like all in one room. It was pretty gory, but just like by like cutting bits off.
And it was extremely
questioning it
successful
again.
as well, Saw.
Yeah,
It
and
was
that's
something that was
an entire
sort of
franchise.
unique. It hadn't really been done before. But Saw also pushed the gore really far. Like there's some awful images in that film.
And then you've got stuff like Final Destination as well, which is more of like it's fun because it's not gory, but it makes people freak out a bit more because it's like, oh, this is a day-to-day thing. This could actually happen.
Yeah, like the plane one, the first.
Yeah,
one,
like these are things that we
scary.
all think of happening. Like if you're driving behind a lorry with like trees on it, like one could fly out and hit you in the like straight through your window, kind of thing.
Realistic.
So I'm just gonna, because I haven't got you girls, because this is a focus group. What about you girls? What kind of films? Have you watched a horror film lately?
Yeah, it's kind of horror. Sleeping Beauty. The
Sleeping Beauty.
2016 one is.
Yes, I know that film. That's an arty film.
Yeah, I liked it because it's kind of makes you question like yourself as well in a way. So yeah.
Interesting, because that's not a straight ahead. That's a bit of a hybrid genre, right? That's not. I mean, the ideas in it are fairly horrific.
Yeah.
But is there anything ever shown though? Is it explicit? On the horror front?
Not really,
No.
but I suppose.
There is explicit in the film, but it's not necessarily violence that's explicit in that film. Oh, interesting. So, but that's I mean, as far as a horror film goes, that's very like you're gonna find that in festivals more so. Yeah. What about you, Tarina? How do you feel about horror films?
Yeah, I like a mix, not like all gory, because then you don't want it to put you off. You want to be like with it, like just enjoy.
You want to be able to sit through
Yeah.
the film and actually, okay.
Yeah.
Actually see all the things happen.
What about, can you think of a TV show or a horror film that you've seen recently that you liked, actually?
Not really, no.
No?
No.
Okay. So, if I were to make this film and I put it into the cinema, would you guys be willing to spend your £10 to go to the cinema and watch a film?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
You guys still do that?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's the horror film that's the storyline
Yeah, I
That
went.
kind of grips me really.
I went to see
It's gonna be a story.
Mama in the in the cinemas,
Mhm.
and that was a really good film. Like it's kind of
That was worth your money to
psychological,
go.
Yeah, and it's because it's about kids, and it's not really about like the bad guy trying to kill people. It's about the bad guy trying to look after these kids. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it.
So you-
I think with like experiencing with horror films, it's two different worlds if you watch it either through devices like portable devices and like hardware, whereas if you go to the actual cinema and watch it, that you're actually in that atmosphere, like you have the surround sound, the big screen, everything. I think it creates the more atmosphere if you watch it in the theatre.
Interesting. Okay, so you think atmosphere is really important
With
to
horror
getting a
film,
horror film
yeah,
across.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
i.e., when you go to the cinema and the sound is there and the image is there, it's a
Yeah.
more immersive
Yeah.
experience.
True.
That really lends itself well to that sort of genre. Yeah. Okay, I like that. That's good. So, what about the worst horror films? What are the worst horror films that you guys have seen? Stuff that you want to
Oh.
stay away from.
Meat Grinder.
The Grudge.
Don't even know that one.
Yeah, it's literally kind of like a really bad like Chinese version of Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
I
Sweeney
think-
Todd. Okay.
So it's like she kind of like kills
This
people.
is
and
cannibalism.
turns them into like soup, like eel soup and stuff. It's pretty bad. But it's like if it's poorly made and you can like tell, like
Well, but was this
'Cause you've
just
got,
the
like,
production
dual-
values, or was it the story that was really bad?
well, the storyline was pretty bad, but then the production value on top of that was also really bad, kind of thing. So you got like it's not even like if the blood's not realistic, that's not a problem because you got like Dawn of the Dead kind of thing, where like the blood is very red and vivid,
Yeah.
and like anything by Quentin Tarantino, kind of where the blood
It's-
really stands
yeah.
out.
It's
But
interesting
it
though.
doesn't
Would you
seem
call?
realistic.
But is he a horror film director though, Quentin Tarantino?
No, but it's gory.
It's very gory.
So you can
Yeah.
like relate to it, but it's one of those things where the blood isn't realistic, and you can tell it's because it's so bright and vivid,
Mhm.
kind of thing. But you still like the story because there is a good story there backing up what's happening, compared to something which has a bad story, badly played out even.
So, from your guys' perspective, what would be more important? Kaylin's sort of already told me this, but is it, Zion thinks it's atmosphere, it's a technique. Kaylin thinks it's story. Where do the rest of you fall? Is it more about the mise en scène, the technique, or is it more about how well it's written?
Storyline.
You say storyline? Yeah? So you gotta have a good story before you
I think they
go to the
complement
camera.
each other
Yeah.
very much.
think you need both.
I would say you need the good storyline, like Caleb said, to actually bring it to the theatre for like and
Mhm.
get people to want to watch it. And then when they actually go and watch it, they have that leads on to like the after effects where they go and talk about it and get other people to actually go and watch it and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it complements each other quite well, like a lot.
So what about though if I have a crap story,
Yeah.
but I'm really good at making films, and I can take something that's a bad story and I can make it at least look really good and sound really good?
Example of a film.
Quentin Tarantino.
No, I enjoy Django though.
Yeah, but does it have a story?
Not really.
Kind of.
Very simple story, very simple plot.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not so much about the atmosphere. It's just kind of like
Especially compared
getting
to
some
of his-
revenge. Get me
especially
some
compared
revenge.
to some of his older stuff though, like Pulp Fiction and stuff.
Very good storytelling.
kind of thing.
I think
then-
something like Devil's Due. I
Don't know
think
this one.
Oh yeah.
that had the opportunity to be like a really good film, but they filmed it like in a documentary style with like kind of handheld cameras and like
Mhm.
it's people filming it from their experience, but it's a fictional movie. And I think I really didn't like that film. I went to see it and I was expecting something really scary and something really interesting, but it's really hard to kind of see what's going on because of the handheld camera and the
Because
way
the
it's
technique
like,
is just so poor.
yeah.
right.
But I went to see that in the cinema and I wasted a lot of money on it.
Was that the one where she was like the baby was in
Yeah.
the bedroom and then
So So it's like a Paranormal Activity
Yeah.
spin-off kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
hate those films so much.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I like the parodies
Interesting.
of horror films, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie, and all that.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
And the
Well, because
Paranormal
parody
Activity
works
one.
with horror, because we all know horror conventions
Yeah.
fairly well, right? So it's easy to make, like, once it goes into parody, it's easy to make fun of that.